Wait.
All right, go.
All right, it's recording. All right, well, this is our first podcast, the fifth quarter podcast.
Yes, sir.
First one ever. We've been wanting to do this podcast for probably about a year now, but we just haven't.
Yeah, I'd say a little over a year.
Yeah,
A while for sure.
we just haven't committed to doing it yet, but here we are now. So this is going to be sports talk and fantasy football advice. It's probably going to lean more heavy on fantasy football, but obviously I'm a Seahawks fan. Jonathan is a Vikings fan, and Josh is a Chargers fan. So
I'm not biased, guys.
We're not going to be biased, so we keep this real, 100%.
So our goal here is not to be biased. It's going to be hard because we're diehard fans, but we'll see what we can do. So, first off, what do we got? Surprises of the week.
Yes.
So
okay, let's get this running. Who wants to go first? You want to go first? Go ahead.
My first, I got Eagles over 49ers, obviously. Had to lead the whole game, and then Nick Mullins throws that pick six. And then they can't get any stops on defense in the fourth quarter. I don't know why, but I guess that's how games play out. Nick Mullins finished 18 for 26, 200 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. Wentz finally has an okay game, 18 for 28, touchdown and a pick. But Kittle, my goodness, 15 catches, 183 yards and a touchdown, still loses.
Yeah, he was balling for sure. My general reaction from week one, or from this past week, was the Dallas Cowboys defense is not looking so hot right now. When you let the Browns put up that amount of points, that was kind of shocking to me. So that was my biggest takeaway. That was very eye-opening for that situation.
This is the offense we've been expecting from the Browns for over a year, and finally happens.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the opposite for the Cowboys. You'd think with Zeke and Amari Cooper,
they have
Lamb, you'd think they'd be popping off every single week, but for some reason they get down 41-14, and of course they pop off in the fourth quarter because they have to. But
yeah, they always start very slow. They need to up the pace. That's why Mike McCarthy got fired in the first place. But
we'll
see.
My surprise of the week was I was surprised how well the Patriots kept in pace with the Chiefs on Monday night. Coming into the game, they didn't have Cam Newton. I was like, wow, this is going to be a blowout. But at halftime, it was 6-3. And so Bill Belichick did a really good job game planning against Patrick Mahomes in that offense. Honestly, I think if they would have had Cam Newton, I think Patriots could have won that game. But, of course, fourth quarter, you're not going to stop that offense forever. So that was my surprise of the week. So next we got some NFL news. Bill O'Brien just got fired, head coach of the Texans.
Finally.
About time.
Probably expected after that 0-4 start. Any reactions to that?
I mean, I came into the year thinking the Texans were going to win 4 or 5 games, so I'm not really surprised. They just they can't generate offense, and the defense isn't very good. J.J. Watt's a shell for himself. Secondary is not too hot. Their linebackers apparently top 5 in the league. I don't know who said that. But O-line sucks. Can't do
brutal.
nothing.
The O-line is brutal.
It starts with the O-line.
Yeah.
Chargers know that.
Yeah. So Romeo Crennel is going to step in as the interim head coach. Who knows if that'll be long-term or just short-term. But do you think that'll have any effect on –
We'll have to see about that for sure.
I don't think he can do much worse. You win one game, you're successful.
I guess that's true.
I wouldn't say, one game, but they're not expected to do anything right now.
Do you see their offense improving under Romeo Crennel?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, okay, if you look at it from this perspective though, they've been so bad, you can't really play much worse.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they'll pick it up a little bit. For me personally, I feel like Adam Gase. They're like the same head coach.
Nah,
I feel like they're the same head coach.
That's just disrespectful. Adam Gase, no success whatsoever. Miami somehow gets another head coaching job.
Even though he's addicted to cocaine, but whatever. It all starts with the offensive line. Obviously, the Texans have no O-line. Deshaun Watson has no time to throw the ball.
David Johnson can't get in the groove at all.
Can't do anything. So it's really not looking up for the Texans at all whatsoever.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to be disrespectful towards their wide receiver group, but Will Fuller is not. He's not a wide receiver one. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's not. He's
Yeah.
more of the guy to take the top off. He's just one of the like vertical threats.
Yep.
Let's see here. We got some COVID news. Stephon Gilmore tested positive for COVID.
Crazy.
Obviously, that's not good. He's probably the best player on that whole team.
Yep.
That's a huge hit to their secondary. So
Yeah, one of the best corners in the game for sure.
For sure, yeah.
So Cam's out. Stephon Gilmore out for this next game. I forgot who they play. Let me check here.
They play the Broncos.
The Broncos.
Pretty sure it's the Broncos. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that's going to be tough. No Cam Newton. Their quarterbacks do not look good.
Yeah. They got a bit of a break going against the Broncos though.
Yeah.
Lucky it's
Yeah,
not a
for
good
sure.
team.
So that's tough. Also, 2 more Titans players also tested positive for COVID. Titans just can't get away from the COVID curse. So,
They need to tighten their stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing, but
So I don't know if this Broncos game will be played or if the Titans game will be played this week. Obviously, both of those games are in jeopardy. So definitely, if you're a fantasy football player, that's going to take some implications on for you.
Oh yeah, avoid any players from either of those teams. That's what I'm saying.
Unless news comes out like we didn't know if the Chiefs and Patriots were going to play, they ended up playing, luckily. So we'll see. You just have to wait later on this week for some more news on that.
yeah, wait for the football gods to, see what they do.
Yeah, we got to wait for Adam Schefter
Oh.
to give some tweets.
Hopefully they
Shefty.
keep the season alive.
Yeah. Dwayne Haskins and Sam Darnold both benched this week. Any reactions to that?
Sam
My first
Darnold had a
initial
really, really good game last week. That touchdown
Mhm.
run, my goodness.
that
Insane.
caught me off guard for sure.
Yeah.
The white boy got
Um,
And he's low-key more athletic than he looks, and he makes some good
Yeah.
throws.
You saw that
Of
dime
course.
that he threw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's been doing that
That's
every
the
week.
thing.
He's having
Yeah,
at least
that's
one
the
good
thing.
pass every week. He
So-
just
Sam Darnold is a lot better than
Little-
people give him credit for.
Yeah.
he's little bit.
Who's their backup?
Sam Fickenjick. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think it's him.
Yeah.
Sam
Honestly,
Fickenjick. Sam
I
Fickenjick.
think it's a bad move benching Sam Darnold. Their failure to perform is not Sam Darnold's fault at all. I think it's a team in general, but it's
Yeah.
a lot less to do with Sam Darnold and I think a lot more to do with Adam Gase. So I think benching Sam Darnold here is a pretty bad decision. He's a second-year quarterback. He's been playing pretty well. He's not horrible, obviously, but he's not great. He's been playing decent enough to win games. It's just his team is not that great. Obviously, Le'Veon's out.
Yeah.
Adam Gase is the worst head coach in the league. So I think this is a bad move. And then Dwayne Haskins, he just hasn't. He performed well this past week, but he didn't throw. I don't think he threw any touchdown passes. I think he threw for 300+ yards, but
He did.
yeah, he's just. It's not looking up for him at all.
Yeah.
Well, according to Adam Schefter, one of the tweets was saying that one of the quarterbacks from the Washington football team got COVID, and Dwayne Haskins just got benched. So, that's just my assumption that he's the one who got COVID. Because long term, I just don't see how you can give up on Dwayne Haskins. Like it's the same thing with Sam Darnold. Like it's not necessarily his fault
Right.
to an extent. Plus, they just played like the Ravens, I believe. So, and that's one of the better defenses in the league. You can't expect them to go off like that.
That's true. And to be fair, the Redskins were in that game for a little while.
They were. Yeah.
One of the worst teams, hung with one of the best teams, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I was surprised there, but we'll see how the result is. Benching Darnold and Dwayne Haskins. Also, more news, injury news. Chubb and Eckler both out for at least 4 to 6 weeks. They're both on IR. I see it's a bigger problem for the Chargers than it is for the Browns, obviously. So any reactions to that?
Chargers just lost their best offensive player. Already have 10 other injuries. Mike Williams is out. Keenan Allen's going to see a lot of double teams. A lot of rookie receivers, rookie quarterback. 3 offensive linemen are out. Not looking good,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Not ideal.
And we play the Saints coming to Monday night, so find a way to make it competitive, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup. With the Browns, obviously taking Chubb out it hurts a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt a lot with Kareem Hunt and you have Dearness Johnson and I don't know who their third stringer is, or their fourth stringer, I guess.
Yeah,
But you saw when Chubb went out, it didn't really affect that offense too much. They were still able to run the ball, and they still did their thing. So I don't see it hurting that much. So anyone else?
For my fantasy team, but not necessarily about the team itself.
Any other injury news that Chubb and Eckler, but anyone else?
No, I wanted to say this though. Sam Darnold, he reminds me of a lot of Daniel Jones. I think they're similar like QBs. They throw really good passes. They're mobile, and they just
pretty good.
Can't do nothing about their own line. It is what it is.
They did. I mean, it's unfortunate that they play on the teams that they do because
they're good. The Jets are a much better football team than their record says every year. Yeah. I think they're like a 6-win team, maybe 7-win team every year, but approach the coaching.
Yeah. They're both in New York, and they're both playing on the worst teams in the league. So it's just very unfortunate for them.
Apparently, it's the worst turf in the league as well, even though they just got it replaced.
I don't know about that.
You can't lie. Yeah, there is a lot of injuries, though. So, I mean, maybe it was. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, actually – all right, go ahead.
Also, more news. Snacks Harrison, defensive tackle, just signed with the Seattle Seahawks. So that's good news for my team, obviously.
Major pickup right there.
We definitely needed the help. We had no pass rush whatsoever. We're pretty good against the run, so he'll help in that addition. But in terms of rushing the quarterback, I think he'll be addition to that. So
yeah.
What were we gonna say, John?
I was gonna move back to the Titans. Also, Corey Davis just got listed on the COVID-19 list today.
Right.
So that happened, and then also with the injuries, I don't know if it's serious or not, but it's something for the fantasy football owners of Lamar Jackson to keep an eye on. He didn't practice today because of a knee injury, according to Adam Schefter. So, I mean, I would just keep an eye on that just in case, because, usually if you took Lamar Jackson, you paid a hefty price to get him. So just keep an eye out on that.
I think most people, his ADP was like second round or something. I'm not totally positive. Yeah. But I know a lot of people
exactly
overall and whatnot. So, all right, we're going to jump into our fantasy football segments. We're going to start with our flunkers of the week, players who underperformed severely this week. Any players you had in mind?
I'll go first. Calvin Ridley. I was playing against him in fantasy this week. I needed him to do poorly, and he did that. So for that, I'm thankful for that. But that is one off the top of my head that for sure was, I think, had to be the biggest flunker. 0 points.
Yeah,
0
absolutely.
points.
It's not even like he didn't get targets. He dropped multiple passes. Yeah. But, yeah.
It was just a bad day in general for all the wide receivers for the Atlanta Falcons because Julio didn't do so well, and he got injured as well. Russell Gage, I don't know exactly how many points he got, but he had 4 points, and I think Julio got 7. So 11 points combined for the wide receivers for the Falcons. Not looking so good.
Yeah. For me, I said Kenyon Drake. It seems like he's here every week. Yeah. 3.5 points. His ADP was round 2 or round 3 or something like that. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. I put him on my flunkers of the week too. I'm gonna give him one more week. I traded for him in our league, so I traded David Johnson for Kenyon Drake just because I don't want to give up on Kenyon Drake just yet. Obviously, when he got traded to the Cardinals last year, I think he was top 5 in running backs throughout the rest of the season when he got traded there. And he has a good matchup this week, so I'm not giving up on him just yet. That's why I traded for him. So. But if he has another week next week, I'll probably be willing to drop him or trade him.
Yeah, he's definitely getting the volume too. Because if you look at his amount of carries he usually gets a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, but it kind of hurts with Chase Edmonds in the backfield because he's been stealing some of his touchdowns and targets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another flunker of the week, Michael Gallup, 4.9 fantasy points.
Yeah, he's had a rough
59 yards.
He's taking a backseat to CD.
Yep.
Which you would have thought he would have had a lot more points considering they were down 41-14. You think he would get a lot more targets, later on in the fourth quarter, but he just wasn't getting the ball as much. So
he might have been one of the only players on that team that didn't get like double-digit points.
Yeah.
Dalton had like 17.
Yeah.
Cooper had 30-something. Yeah, they're all double digits. He didn't get that much volume, unfortunately.
Which is surprising because coming into the year, Gallup was the number 2 wide receiver behind Amari Cooper. I think CeeDee Lamb has stolen that number 2 spot from
For
Michael
sure.
Gallup. So
For
let's see
sure, yeah.
what Michael Gallup's production is the rest of the week. Another flunker of the week, Marvin Jones, 1.9 fantasy points. He had 1 reception for 9 yards.
That's
Yeah,
rough.
the Lions don't look too good, especially, when they blew that lead to the Bears. I mean,
Yeah.
week 1 kind of.
Yeah, that was
over there.
rough.
So, and obviously with Kenny Galladay coming back, stealing those targets from Marvin Jones, not looking good. Another stink of the week, which was sad for me, Tyler Lockett had 5.9 fantasy points. Where he had 3 touchdown receptions. I think he had like 30-some fantasy points. The week after this week, 5.9 points, 2 receptions, 39 yards. Don't know what to say about that one. Just is what it is. We played the Dolphins.
It is what it is.
We were able to run the ball a little bit, which that's a factor in that. So
yeah, I feel like another thing with Tyler Lockett is obviously he's a really good receiver, but at times like this, there's always at least 1 or 2 games he kind of disappears in the season.
Yeah.
So it just happens. It sucks. It happens after his 3 touchdown game. Yeah. I don't think there's a single person that benched him, and if they did, good for them. But
yeah, no one saw 5.9 fantasy points after dropping 5+ points. So
exactly,
you would have thought he'll at least get 15, but ended up with 5.9. So obviously some more flunkers of the week. We'll just go on the list. I have Miles Sanders, 9.6 points, 13 carries, 46 yards, 2 receptions. Julio Jones, obviously he got injured, but he only had 7.2 points. And then DJ Moore, you expect more from him. He's getting targets taken away from him on that offense. He only had 4 receptions for 49 yards. So I'm not freaking out on him yet. I have him on my fantasy team. I'm not freaking out yet, but I give it 1 or 2 more weeks before I'll be willing to trade him or drop him. So
I think the same goes for Miles Sanders. The Eagles' offense hasn't been looking good, and his trade value is just going down each week.
Yeah,
he's not really playing that good either. So
yeah, I mean, I think he has. Week 2 was his first week. I think he had 20 points. The next week he had 14 points. This week he has 9 points. So
yeah.
And then he had a tough matchup this week against the. Do they play the Steelers? I think he has a pretty tough matchup this week. So.
Yeah, they play Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're arguably the best team against the run.
They love the blitz.
If he can get some receptions out of the backfield, I think he only had 2 receptions this past week. If he can get a lot more receptions out of the backfield, I'm not too worried. But in terms of the running game itself, I'm pretty worried about Miles Sanders this week. So,
yeah, the offensive line is beat up for sure.
Yeah.
One of the flunkers I have this week, and actually for the year so far, has been T.Y. Hilton for me.
Yeah.
He had 5.9 points of PPR formats. He had 3 catches for 29 yards. But if you were to look at his recent performances, he has 3 catches for 52 yards, 3 catches for 28 yards, 4 catches, 53 yards, and that includes going against the Jaguars, the Vikings defense, the Jets, and the Bears is the only real one that's decent. The rest of those were favorable matchups, but for some reason, he just hasn't been targeted like that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. They had an upgrade at quarterback in Phillip Rivers. So
for sure.
the hopes were high for T.Y. Hilton. But I just
for me, I think it's time to see what you can get for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have studs of the week. Did you have another flunker?
Yeah, I said like Zach Ertz.
Oh, yeah.
6.9 points, and again, the offense hasn't been looking too good. So
yeah.
And without Dallas Goedert, you would assume that he would rise up, but
exactly, he hasn't been creating the separation he normally does, and probably taking a step down from the tight end rankings.
He's looking old. Old, but he's looking pretty old. 2 years ago, he's one of the best tight ends in the league, and now he's probably bottom 5. It's looking like right now, at least.
For sure.
Studs of the week. Who do you guys got as studs of the week? These are players who overperformed or had really great weeks.
Joe Mixon, for sure. He carried that team.
Of course.
Joe Burrow did play good, had 300 yards, a touchdown, he did throw a pick, but Joe Mixon carried him, and he got his first win against the Jags,
He got his first win.
Yeah, Joe Mixon with 42.1 points, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 6 receptions for 30 yards and a touchdown through the air. So
Absolute beast.
Really big week.
Yeah.
And for people who had Joe Mixon on their fantasy team, they were kind of freaking out a little bit because his previous 3
Yeah,
weeks
he
were total
has been
flukes.
playing good. Popped
And,
off though.
But your hopes are high now with Joe Mixon. I don't know if people are be willing to trade him because he had such a high week. I don't know what his projections are for the rest of the year, but fantasy owners were freaking out, and I think they've kind of settled down after this 40-point performance. So, any other?
For me, mine was Odell Beckham Jr. How about that? Finally was waiting for so long. So he had 5 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then of course at the end he had that run, which sealed the game, put the nail in the coffin. For me, that was very surprising, mostly just because you've seen the connection between Baker and Odell. It wasn't really that great, but you can tell that it was definitely over the weeks have gone by. It's improved little by little.
Yeah.
And that game was really, I know that felt good for him considering that he was trying to get that for a long time.
Yeah.
That end around,
definitely helped.
He had
That
must
end
have
around
had
was
at least,
crazy.
like 70 yards. Like he's way behind line of scrimmage, runs upfield,
Yeah.
gets a couple blocks, makes people miss. Boom.
Yep, that was definitely a boom this week.
Yep.
My stud of the week was Amari Cooper, 33.4 points, 12 receptions, 134 yards, and a touchdown. That obviously was a big factor because they were down so much in the second half. They had to throw the ball a lot, but nonetheless, Amari Cooper with 33 points, he's now the number 1 fantasy wide receiver through the first 4 weeks. So.
Yeah, a pair of tight ends in George Kittle and Robert Tonyan, both 30+, but obviously George Kittle, the 40-point, still took the L. It is what it is. Robert Tonyan somehow scored all the touchdowns in the Packers game. 33.8 points. Like, oh, my goodness.
Crazy.
Imagine playing him this week.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
With Robert Tonyan, obviously that's not going to continue. They're getting Devontae Adams back. They were down their top 2 wide receivers in Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard. So people who, I guess you can pick him up and put him on your bench, but he's not an every week starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One player that I say would, Dalton Schultz, if he's still in your league, I don't know how he would be, but you need to pick him up ASAP.
Yeah.
He's going to get the volume. Even though he's their third tight end, he's going to get the volume, and he's been playing well.
Yeah. Some other studs of the week, we have Mike Evans with 25 points. It was good to see him actually get yardage.
With the hurt foot, too.
Yeah. So it's good to see him actually get yardage instead of just touchdowns. I think, last week he had 2 receptions, 2 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then I think a week before that, he had 1 reception for 2 yards and a touchdown. So fantasy projection was there was because of the touchdowns, but it was actually good to see him actually get yards this week. So
it really wasn't good to see him get all those yards and score like that, but fantasy was great.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it the same game too. Another stud was Tom Brady. How about Tom Brady? He had one game. The game may have not been the best in terms of real life, but in terms of fantasy, ended up with 32, 46, 369 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception.
That second half, he really played like perfect. Outside of the pick six, really, he was an outstanding game.
Yeah. Yeah. So in our league, for example, Tom Brady he's on the waiver wire. So I would pick him up, claim him if you haven't yet. If you're streaming quarterbacks.
Yeah. Some other studs. We had Allen Robinson with 23 points. He did get that late touchdown at the end, kind of in garbage time, so that definitely helped him a lot.
Those are the best fantasy players right there.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
So those are great. A guy that I've been hoping for to break out, Antonio Gibson.
Finally, right?
So
finally,
I wanted to draft him, but I wasn't able to, so I had to trade him in week 1. I was able to get him, so I just kind of benched him and been hoping for kind of a breakout game. Finally, he had that game. So we had Will Fuller with a breakout game, 22.8 fantasy points, 6 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Dak Prescott, I think we already talked about him.
DJ Chark. I don't know if you said him yet, but I think he had 8 receptions for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Good to see him back in the rotation.
CeeDee Lamb, another Cowboy wide receiver. Had 2. Melvin Gordon, he had a pretty good game. 25.8 fantasy points, 23 carries, 167 yards or 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Also 2 for 11 through the air.
That last
at the end kind of saved
touchdown.
Yeah. So that last touchdown at the end kind of saved them there. So
yeah, for sure.
Adam Thielen also had a good game, 26.2 points, 8 receptions, 114 yards, and a touchdown. So great game. It was good to see him actually break out. I think that's his second week where he had good production.
Mhm.
So
I would say for this, Terry McLaurin, now that Dwayne Haskins is out, I don't know how valuable he will be in the near future, depending on how long Haskins is out, obviously. But who knows how good Kyle Allen will play. Him and Ron Rivera have history on the Panthers, so we'll see.
yeah.
I don't say this is kind of surprising in a way, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been playing well with practice squad receivers in a sense. Like,
highest QBR so far.
yeah, he's been doing good. You know, obviously I don't like seeing that, but I mean,
Aaron
it is what it
Rodgers,
is.
yeah.
Gotta
And I
take
think
my
he
hats
has
off for that.
he has no picks on the year, right? I think he has 0.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
has
think
0 interceptions.
14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, something like that.
He's playing out of his mind, and he has no wide receivers. So,
But
DeMarcus
they're
Adams
on a bye
is-
week this week. They might be able to, you know, rest up and
Yeah,
get better for next week.
One of these things I'll say about like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, even though they don't have the best wide receivers, they always have amazing O-lines, and he always has time to find who's open and who's not. That's a big
Yeah.
factor people forget.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
for
Aaron
sure.
Rodgers is motivated too because obviously
Yeah,
drafted
for
Bryce
sure.
Love, or not Bryce Love, but Jordan
Jordan
Love
Love.
this round. Adds a little more motivation for Aaron Rodgers there. So
Yeah.
You could definitely tell, like he needed that, right? Like we needed to give Aaron Rodgers motivation.
it's not looking good for the NFC North. Looks like Packers are full head of steam in that division. Bears
Yeah.
are 3-1.
Unfortunately,
3, and then obviously the Lions are a joke. So
they're like
So,
they're like the guys you're not worried about, but you know you're like you wouldn't say you're necessarily cool with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go through each game this upcoming week, and we're gonna say who we'd be willing to start in each of those games, and then our predictions for who we think is gonna win each game. So
And
Our
we
first-
will be
our
keeping
first one is,
score for all of these weeks.
yeah, our first one is obviously a Thursday night game. We have Buccaneers at the Bears. Any fantasy players you guys are looking at in that?
Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'd say Mike Evans, Allen Robinson for sure. And if you're looking for a QB, Tom Brady, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Nick Foles. He did not look good last week at all.
yeah. Obviously, with Nick Foles' performance, you kind of question who's going to be the starter this week. They haven't said, so you assume it's still going to be Nick Foles. But after that performance, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know
say-
if you're – go ahead.
I would say Leonard Fournette. I'd be willing to start him. If you don't have any other really good running backs, I'd be willing to start Leonard Fournette. LaShawn McCoy is out this week, so obviously that adds more load to Leonard Fournette's plate. So
Sorry to interrupt you. One thing that just came in: Jamal Adams will not play versus the Vikings this week with a groin injury.
That'll make for spicy. Maybe it'll
You know,
more
that's
fun.
it's all right. My boy Ryan Neal is stepping in. Back-to-back week with picks.
Yeah.
next man up attitude.
Yeah.
All right, go
any
ahead
other
and
Are we
players
all
on.
taking the Bucks?
I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bucks.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Bucks by. I'm gonna say like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the Bucks are gonna win as well.
Convincingly, obviously.
All right, and then Sunday morning, we have Panthers at the Falcons. So any fantasy players you guys are looking at there?
Mike Davis been playing really well.
Yeah.
Sure. Robbie Anderson.
Mhm.
He's like low key their number one receiver at the moment.
Yeah.
And the Falcons secondary is what we saw last week. Not very good,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of the bad secondary, I think Teddy Bridgewater.
I wouldn't say that, no. But they have a chance. The Panthers aren't, let's say, their defense isn't very good. So I'd give them a chance. You never know if Matt Ryan pulls out a Matty Ice performance on them.
Yeah. Honestly, for that game, I'm gonna pick Atlanta because Carolina has been playing well, and their defense is very underrated. But at the same time, I feel like with the Falcons, prior to last week, it's always been a shootout, and they've always been putting up a lot of fantasy numbers. So you
Yeah,
cannot
I mean-
expect Calvin Ridley to get 0 again. That's not happening
Yeah.
again for the rest of the year.
And if Julio does play, even if he's on the field, it'll be a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Even if he's not getting the volume of production, he's definitely getting.
My boy.
He's serving as. You're back. Let's go. We
Yeah.
kept it going. We kept it going without you, but we're definitely with Julio on the field. If he's not getting production, he's definitely served as a distraction to free up Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage,
Yeah.
for example.
I don't know if you guys talked about DJ Moore, but obviously he hasn't been great as of late, but I'd definitely be willing to start him against this Falcons secondary.
For
Yes,
sure.
that is a favorable matchup for sure.
So what were you guys' predictions for this game?
Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers.
I'm
Probably
gonna take the
down,
Falcons.
Maybe 10 points.
I'm gonna take the Falcons. I'm gonna give them 7 points by touchdown.
Okay. I think I'm going to take the Falcons here to get their first win of the year.
Ooh, spicy. I like it. I like it.
I just think they're the better team. Obviously, their secondary isn't great, but better quarterback, better receivers, I think. And I mean, is Todd Gurley better than Mike Davis? Who knows? But
I mean, they might have the better team. Who has the better coach?
yeah, Dan Quinn.
That does play a factor.
But I'm
I mean, honestly,
here.
Dan Quinn. I don't know how he's still there either.
Yeah, he's a defensive coordinator, not a head coach. So he should
Yeah.
get back on defense. All right, next we have Bills at the Titans. So what's fantasy looking like for this game?
Anyone on the Bills, this is going to be an absolute blowout. JK. No, but I'm taking the Bills. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, they've been looking really, really good. I tried picking them up in fantasy myself, but they were stolen,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
If he plays, obviously you're going to start Derrick Henry, and AJ Brown. Corey Davis has COVID.
Finally back.
Yeah. Corey Davis with COVID, that frees up a lot of room for AJ Brown. So I'll be willing to start them. Any other players you guys are thinking of?
Not the spiciest pick, but maybe Jonnu Smith, considering they know AJ Brown is coming back. They might double him a lot. Free up the middle of the field for Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Plus, we've seen throughout the past weeks that they have a good connection, him and Tannehill.
The Bills are ranked in the 20s, giving up points to tight ends right now. So not a bad pick.
So if you have Jonnu Smith on your team, it's probably a smart play to go ahead and start him. Any other players? Cole Beasley. I mean, if you're desperate for a wide receiver, if you're desperate, I mean, if he's on waivers and someone's out with COVID or whatever.
Deeper leagues for sure.
I'd pick up Cole Beasley. Yeah. Predictions for this game.
I have the Bills, I would say 23 to 17. I think it's going to be relatively low scoring with the defense, and the Titans don't like to put up much points. They like to run a lot. So, yeah.
I'm taking the Bills as well.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills here. I'm going to give them probably about 10 points, touchdown and field goal.
Okay.
I'll take it for sure.
Yeah, the Bills are my early Super Bowl pick right now for the AFC. They're looking good.
Oh.
We'll see if it continues, though.
All right. Next we have Raiders at the Chiefs. So
yeah.
Fantasy starts here.
The Raiders. I got the Chiefs for sure in this one.
Yeah.
Have been looking good. That was a surprise win versus the Saints, for example. But Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire looks good as well. The receiving core, there's just too much firepower.
Yeah, too much firepower. Andrew Reid at the helm. They're too good.
Yeah.
Too good.
I'd be willing to start Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. The Raiders are the worst team against the run in terms of giving fantasy points up to running backs. So I expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire here to get quite a few fantasy points this week.
One thing I would say is it is a division game, and those just I don't know.
Division games.
Even though you think it's going to be a blowout, they can make it closer than it looks. So who knows what can happen? But I'm taking Kansas City in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touching on your point there.
Go ahead.
I think it'll be a lot closer than people expect, though, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, touching on his point there, last year when they played, it really came down to a one-possession game when the Chiefs finally scored back when they were in Oakland. But that was a lot closer than people expected. For me personally, I feel like Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to stack the box and key in on that. But surprisingly, the Raiders have had a couple passing touchdowns, and they've been able to move the ball passing, not just running. So that's been a good look.
I think Derek Carr's one interception, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 0. I don't know. I think it's 1, but he's taking care of the ball for sure.
Yeah, he's for sure taking care of the ball, and they look better than most people would say that expected them to.
Obviously,
Yeah, definitely looking better than the Broncos.
What's that?
I said they're definitely looking better than the Broncos as of now.
Obviously, you're starting Patrick Mahomes if you have him.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. If you're in a pinch, Hunter Renfrow, I'd be willing to start if you're in a pinch.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Sammy Watkins?
I'd rather put in me.
Yeah. Sorry, the audio's out. Hold on. Can you guys hear each other?
Can you hear us?
All right, there we go. We're back.
All right, solid.
All right, I'll just edit that in before I upload it. Yeah. Anyone else you guys would be willing to start in fantasy?
Darren Waller. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Darren Waller for sure looks good. Yeah.
All right. Next, we got Cardinals at the Jets. Not a very spicy matchup here, but any fantasy starters you guys are looking at?
Definitely Kyler and DeAndre.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for me, honestly. I wouldn't take any of the Jets players. I mean,
Jamison Crowder, honestly, I'd be willing to start him.
Yeah, if you need to, but not one of the players that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely avoid any of the Jets situation here. I mean, maybe if you're streaming defenses, even take the Cardinals defense.
Yeah.
I'm basically wanting to start anybody versus the Jets.
Well, especially now the
If
Jets are
Sam
starting
Darnold's not playing, it's going to be really, really hard for the Jets to move the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Cardinals defense is on waivers, go ahead and pick them up and start them right away. Their backup quarterback is not going to do anything, so it's looking up. Are you guys feeling on Kenyon Drake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was looking. I wouldn't get him. Like, I didn't want him at the beginning of the year, and I definitely don't want him now.
Okay.
I am bailing on him mostly because he's getting – I'm bailing on him because the same reason why I wanted to trade Kyler Murray was because he was affecting DeAndre Hopkins' outcome because with all of his rushing touchdowns. Whenever he's in the goal line or nearby, he runs too often. And for a running back, I don't want my quarterback to be running that often like that. So for me, I'll see what I can get for him.
Yeah. Predictions, who's winning this game?
No.
Come on.
Come on, the Jets. Hope Francisco sees this. But no, I'm going to say the Cardinals by a blowout. I'm having them winning 31-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have an absolute blowout and have I think 45-3.
Dang.
Will not be close.
Sorry, Jets
Will
fan.
not be close.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Here too, obviously. Jets just honestly, I'm not surprised if Jets go 0-16. So
I wouldn't be surprised either, to be honest.
All right, next we have Eagles at the Steelers. So what are fantasy starters looking like here?
Juju for sure, absolutely Juju. Yeah. James Conner.
Yeah, plus
low key Big Ben. I think he might have another good game there.
They just got injured as well too, so their secondary is even more banged up than it already was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Deontay Johnson, you guys would be willing to start him?
If you need him in a flex, for sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, if you need him in a flex. I mean, I know he was through concussion protocol. I don't know if he's cleared yet, but if you have him on your team, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's see. Anyone on Eagles? Are you guys bouncing on Zach Ertz, or are you guys willing to start him still?
I'd still start him.
Yeah. I would start him, depending on who you have. But, I mean, he's still one of the top tight ends. And the season is still somewhat early, so he has time to bounce back. I'm a firm believer that he'll bounce back.
Yeah. I'm I'm still starting Miles Sanders even against this run defense.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, it's Miles Sanders. I think his ADP was somewhere in the first round. So I mean, if you draft him, you kind of have to start him here, and I'm willing to start him. There's no Eagles wide receivers I'm willing to start, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm avoiding that.
You
Alright,
just don't know who's going to step up. So
Yeah. Predictions for this game.
Predictions for this game, I am going to say the Steelers win. I feel like it's going to be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Because the defense, I feel like they're going to rely really heavily on the run. I feel like it's going to be a big James Conner game, more so than any of like Juju or Big Ben. I'm
Yeah.
going to say James Conner has like 2 rushing touchdowns for like 95, 100 yards. And then I feel like the defense is really going to hold them.
Yeah.
I'm also going with Pittsburgh, but I also put a star on this one because this game might, Eagles did see themselves win a game against one of the better teams, even though they were banged up. They'll probably look at it like we beat a 49ers team and went to Super Bowl last year. So they might have some confidence going into the game, but we'll see what happens. I got Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah. I got Steelers here, too. Eagles are pretty banged up, and I just don't see them winning this game. So, all right, next we got Rams at Washington. So, fantasy starters here.
Rams defense. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Kyle Allen over there. He did start up hot last year, and then interceptions came rolling in. So we'll see what version of him we get. But
yeah,
absolutely the Rams defense.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Terry McLaurin, I'm going to start here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For one, I have 2 reasons. One reason is Jalen Ramsey got into that fight, so he might be suspended for all we know.
Yeah.
He might not play. And if that's the case, for sure, I'll take that. And also, if you look back at Kyle Allen, last season, DJ Moore was a really high prospect because Kyle Allen force-fed him the ball.
Yeah.
So, I feel like he might force-feed the ball to Terry McLaurin as well, too, regardless.
Yeah, another thing about Terry, like, people don't really understand, like, how really good he is in college. He was kind of Dwayne Haskins' main guy and made him all the yards and TDs he had was because of him. And he was going against the Ravens last week, 10 catches, 114 yards. So absolutely must start him.
Yeah. Let's see here. Are you starting Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
Either of them, yeah, for sure. I think I'm punting on the running backs, though. Washington actually has a very underrated run defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, you just don't know. Like last week or the week before last week, everyone figured it was going to be Darrell Henderson's backfield because he was playing the best with Cam Akers out and Malcolm Brown not performing as well. But last week, they turned to Malcolm Brown. So
yeah,
it's more of a committee backfield, and I try to stay away from that. Plus, also, they're playing a good defense. So
yeah, it's a guessing game with their backfield. Obviously, whoever starts is going to have a good game, but you just never know who starts or who plays well.
Yeah.
So
they just need the hot hand.
I'm going to take Rams here, obviously. I can't see the Washington football team beating the Rams here.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to take the Rams as well, too. I'm going to take them. I think obviously they're the favorites, and I don't think this game's going to be necessarily that close as well either without their starting quarterback for the Washington.
Don't sleep on Riverboat Ron, We've seen crazier stuff happen. But
He's a legend.
Washington.
He's
definitely really
a legend.
He's former Chargers defensive coach, I believe. What a guy.
At halftime, with the things he has to do just to be able to go out there and coach for the second half.
Yeah. What a beast.
Obviously, as a Seahawks fan and just as a football fan, I'm rooting for the Washington football team because they're the rivals of the Seahawks and it's Ron Rivera, so you always got to root for that.
Okay.
Guy. So
could we get them a team name? I've been saying they should be the Washington Monuments for the past couple months. And I think that's a pretty good name. Let's get it out there. Washington Monuments.
For the football team.
Yeah, I'd be down for the Monuments. It sounds dope.
I think that's a pretty good name.
Yeah, that's a pretty good name.
I know.
NFL or something.
All right, next we have the Bengals at the Ravens.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Bengals.
Obviously, you're starting Lamar Jackson.
There's no firepower that the Bengals have that the Ravens can't stop.
Yeah. I'm not willing to start Mark Ingram anymore. It just he's not getting into the end zone much. He's not getting a ton of carries. So
He's not a PPR threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shared backfield with J.K. Dobbins as well. So
Yeah, I would avoid that. I mean, if you trust one, you trust one. It is the Bengals, so who knows? But
Yeah.
definitely start Lamar. I don't know why you wouldn't start him if you had him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown.
I'm benching him. I have him on my fantasy team, and I was really high on him this week because the Ravens are one of the highest scoring teams. So you want the number one receiver on the highest scoring team, but
Yeah.
just hasn't panned out yet. I'm not gonna give up on him or drop him. I'm just gonna be patient with him, but I don't. This could be a breakout game considering it's the Bengals, but at the same time, I feel like it's gonna be a really run-heavy game for the Ravens, and they're just gonna coast off to the win.
Yeah. Mark Andrews, if you have him, you have to start him. I think he had 2 touchdown catches last week. He's one of the better tight ends in the league, so I'm definitely willing to start him if I have him.
Yeah, the thing about Mark Andrews, I think every game he's registered less than 4 catches, but 2 of those games he has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if they're in the red zone, he's definitely going to be looked at. But
It's either boom or bust with him. There's no,
yeah, exactly.
There's no 20-point games. It's either 5 or 20 points.
Yeah.
One of those tight ends.
Take your chances, but
Yeah.
what you guys got for the score?
I feel bad for the Bengals here, but I say 38-14. Ravens.
Yeah.
That's right around where I had 35-14.
Yeah.
I was going to say 34-17, but, yeah.
You have Joe Mixon. I know he just had a big week, but personally, I am not starting him.
Yeah, this is a real team. Like the Ravens,
Yeah.
no joke, definitely top 4 in the league for sure.
But if you have Joe Mixon, you're starting him though, right? Like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I have Joe Mixon in one of my leagues, and I am not starting him.
Really?
I would be looking to trade Mixon, honestly, because I don't know how many big games he's going to have.
Yeah. I would try to trade Mixon just based off his recent performance. There's always that one guy in every league who only looks at past week's performance and just goes based off those numbers. So if you can trade him for maybe someone like Jonathan Taylor or someone like that, I definitely would.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely know who you are. I'm not going to name names, but don't do that in fantasy.
But another reason why I would punt on Joe Mixon is, I mean, the talent is undeniable, but obviously the Bengals aren't a good team.
Situation's everything.
Yeah.
Not to mention, in their division, they have to play the Steelers twice and the Ravens twice, and the Browns, they're not that.
Right? Yeah, Browns aren't like.
They're not the same pedigree, but all 3 of those run defenses are pretty solid. So for me, Joe Mixon is just not. I would definitely punt on him, and I would try to see what I get for him.
Yeah, for sure. Next, we have the Jaguars at the Texans. I'm starting Deshaun Watson if I have him. He should be a good player. Even he's not on a great team, but if you have him, you got to start him here.
For me, I am starting DJ Chark. I'm starting Gardner Minshew.
I'm starting everyone in these games. These defenses aren't the best.
Yeah,
definitely start Minshew.
I personally feel like it's going to be a shootout. So, I mean, this game, I had to start next to this game. I would choose any of these players on these teams, to be honest.
Yeah. David Johnson, I think, is going to have a really big game here.
I can see that, yeah.
Especially with Romeo Crennel coming in. I think they're going to change some things on the offense, and I think David Johnson's going to get a lot more receptions out of the backfield in this game. So, what are you guys' predictions for this game, score-wise?
I think I'm going right around 31-26 Jags.
Okay.
I think we're going to see an explosive second half, really slow first half, but yeah.
I am going to go with the Jags as well, and I'm going to say they win by a field goal, a game-winning field goal. So you heard it here first. I'm going to say 35-32.
Okay. I'm going to take the Texans here. They're 0 right now, but
okay.
I think they got what they wanted in firing Bill O'Brien. I think they're going to be a lot more motivated with Romeo Crennel coming in, and I just think they're going to have a whole new attitude coming into this game. So I'm taking the Texans here.
Yeah, we all heard about the J.J. Watt story, right?
Yeah. So, all right, next we have the Dolphins at the 49ers. I feel sorry for the Dolphins, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
Who are you guys willing to start in this game?
I believe Jimmy G's coming back, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely the Niners. Kittle, absolutely start Kittle.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if Tevin Coleman or what's his name's coming back, but Jerick McKinnon, I would say he's had a touchdown every single game. So yeah.
Comparing Jerry McKinnon if Raheem Mostert comes back.
Ooh, Mostert comes back.
Would you flex Jerick McKinnon if Raheem Mostert comes back?
No, I would not. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the same value, but if you do need someone, he'll probably be around like I'll say 12 to 15 points maybe.
Yeah. Devontae Parker, you willing to start him in this game?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Honestly, their 49ers secondary is not as good as they were last year. Sherman's still out, I think. So that leaves the door open for Dolphins wide receivers here.
Yeah, he finally had a good game. I think his hamstring's doing a lot better than it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
10 catches, 110 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just going along with the matchups, for me, one player that people might have started in their lineup is Mike Gesicki. Personally, I would bench him considering that Fred Warner is their middle linebacker, and he's actually a really good coverage linebacker. So I feel like he's going to draw a lot of his attention. So I don't know if I would start him.
Yeah. Are you Mike Gesicki's had one good week. He had 27 points. If you have him, are you willing to drop him? I think I am, honestly.
Yeah. Especially if you're streaming tight ends. Like, that's just something you have to do.
I mean, they played Seattle last week, who's horrible against the pass, and he had one reception. And so, yeah, I'm willing to bench him for someone else.
Absolutely.
Who else in this game are you willing to start? If you need a quarterback, I'd start Fitzpatrick, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the most sexiest pick, but he's going to get you 20 points at least.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he gets out of the pocket, which is crazy, you know.
Yeah,
he's been running.
Puts his head down. He does not care.
Yeah, he'll take the hit. So I'm gonna say 49ers are gonna win here by I'm gonna say 27-14 here.
I'm gonna get a little closer. I'll say 24-21, and then
Oh,
they just can't get the last drive.
yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Niners here. I'm going to say 28-24.
Okay. All right. Next we have Colts at the Browns. This is actually a pretty good matchup, I think. I think this is gonna be a pretty close game here.
yeah.
Obviously, if you have Kareem Hunt, you're starting him.
Mm-hmm.
Odell, you're starting him.
Yep.
What do you think about Jarvis Landry?
I've been trying to avoid him for like the entire season. I picked him up for trade bait, and yeah, we all know how that story ends. Traded.
He only
obviously.
had a good week this past week because of the touchdown pass. So
Yeah.
If you have him,
Actually, I'm high on Jarvis Landry this week. For me personally, I feel like after that emotional roller coaster of that win that they just had and Odell's big game, they're really going to key on Odell. This game is just going to free up Jarvis Landry, in my opinion.
yeah.
We'll see.
I'm starting Jonathan Taylor here.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting Jonathan Taylor.
I'm staying away from T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
Hasn't been good for him lately.
I think a sleeper pick if you need him. Mo Alley Cox. He's been playing decently.
I was gonna say Mo Cox. He's been pretty consistent. He hasn't had any like bad games in terms of like 4 points or less. He's pretty consistent when it comes to fantasy points.
Yeah, Philip Rivers loves his tight ends.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Are you willing to start Philip Rivers?
Nah, he's not been playing. Yeah, he hasn't had a really good week. Each week is I think between 10 and 14 points.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's just the personnel you have. You know, if you have better quarterbacks or if you have better options, I would definitely do that. But if you're streaming, for example, and you see him there, like that might be a juicy pickup. You never know.
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna say,
is true.
If you're streaming tight ends as well, Austin Hooper would be a good pickup.
Yeah.
If he's available on waivers. Who do you guys have winning this game? This is a close one. But
Yep.
I'm going to take the veteran here in Philip Rivers. I'm going to say 34-31 Colts.
This is a tough one. I think I am going to go with the Browns. I'm going with the Browns. So the Colts defense has been actually the number one rated defense in the league through week 4.
Yeah.
So they've been stepping up, but after that,
What's the name of their cornerback again? The best under what's his name? Oh, Xavier Rhodes.
never heard of that guy.
Rejuvenated.
I don't know that guy. But anyways, yeah. So like we just said, they're attack their corner. No, but I'm definitely gonna go with the Browns here. I just feel like there's too much firepower for their defense. Their defense hasn't faced an offense quite this stacked yet, and obviously Baker Mayfield is to the quarterback. But a lot of really underrated things I think about this team was the hire of Kevin Stefanski. I think he's actually been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
His play calling has been a lot better than in previous years for the Browns. So I just feel like they're on a high right now. You know, they're feeling themselves. They're excited. I think they'll come out and win this game. I'm going to say it's going to be, I'll say 31-14.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the Colts. I think they're going to humble the Browns after that week. I think their ego is going to be a lot higher than like it should.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Colts 34-24.
Okay.
I think Rivers has a good game. Jonathan Taylor, 100-something yards. And I think Justin Houston's going to have a throwback game and get at least 2 sacks.
Yeah. I just think the Colts are all-around better team. They're better on defense, better in quarterback. I think Jonathan Taylor is better than Kareem Hunt, personally. So I'm taking the Colts here. All right, next we have Giants and the Cowboys. Honestly, I don't – everyone's going to pick the Cowboys, but I don't know about –
Yeah. I mean – I think Zeke, you're going to feed him and he's going to eat.
Yeah, who are you starting? Who are you starting this week if you're on either team?
Zeke, I'm staying away from the Giants.
Zeke, Amari Cooper, Dak, CeeDee Lamb. I'd flex him.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you benching Michael Gallup?
Yeah.
I'd be willing to flex him, honestly. If I'm in a pinch, I'd flex him.
Yeah, if you need him,
my number 2 spot.
If you need him, then definitely start him. But if not, I'd stay away from him. He just hasn't shown that he's capable of, going off. We'll say.
Giants side of the ball, I'm really not willing to start anyone on that side.
Honestly, Cowboys defense, even though they've been trash, it's the Giants, it's the G-men.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones hasn't, done much. They had a play last week where it was supposed to be a play action and all the receivers tried to block. So that's a story of their season.
Yeah, if you have anyone roster on the Giants, I guess you start Evan Ingram. I have Evan Ingram one on my fantasy league.
Mm-hmm.
He's been disappointing, obviously, because the whole team has been disappointing.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he'd be the only person I would. I'm punting on their backfield. Like Devontae Freeman's not bad, but their O-line is terrible. And I know the Cowboys aren't necessarily good on defense this year, but still, the Giants just haven't shown me anything there.
Yeah, I see Darius Slayton. Maybe he has flashes. He's a home run hitter.
Yeah.
Him and Daniel Jones are best friends. So
yeah,
maybe I don't see it, but maybe.
Yeah. I'm taking the Cowboys here, 31-28 here. I think it's gonna be closer than people think.
Whoa. I'll take the Cowboys 27. I'll say 27-16.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys 31-21.
Okay.
I think Zeke has a classic 25 carry, 100-something yards.
Oh, he's getting the rock all game long.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's gonna have a really good game.
Yeah.
If you have him, start him.
Next we have if this game happens, Broncos at the Patriots. So we know Cam's not playing and Stephon Gilmore isn't playing as well. So just take that into consideration. I'm not willing to start maybe Julian Edelman on Patriots offense.
Yeah, Highway 11, maybe.
I don't think I'm going to start N'Keal Harry. I'm not really high on him.
Or a Rex Burkhead or anyone like that. I don't know.
Like Burkhead.
Yeah, maybe Damian Harris. He looked the best out of the backs. It's just they have too many backs.
Yeah, I mean, Stidham and Hoyer the Destroyer combined for 4.7 points. So
yeah,
absolutely do not even look at them.
Let's see. Anyone on the Broncos you're willing to start?
Noah Fant.
Melvin Gordon. I'd say Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. In my number 2 wide receiver spot, I'd start Jerry Jeudy if I could.
Also, Philip Lindsay is going to be playing this week. So for me personally, I feel like that's going to take a hit to Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. He's going to get the goal line carry, so.
Yeah. I mean, for
They
me,
make it there.
topically, I'm starting Noah Fant. I feel like he's their best like offensive weapon
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of versatility.
He's pretty consistent too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But as
right.
far as the
Score
game goes,
predict. What's that?
I said as far as the game goes,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm gonna say field goal fest. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But
That's probably pretty accurate.
if you need a kicker, look there. But
I feel like it's gonna be a gritty, like defensive game, very low scoring, a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm Rippon played pretty well. I mean, he had 3 picks in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
But he played pretty well throughout that game. Patriots don't have Cam, and they don't have Stephon Gilmore this week. So I'm honestly going to take the Broncos this week. 21 to 14.
Spicy. I like it. I like it.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm going Patriots. I'm taking
Yeah.
the Patriots here. Bill Belichick. I mean, you can as long as Bill Belichick is their head coach, they're always going to be competitive. Like they're never going to be bad,
Yeah.
especially as defense under him. So for me personally,
Defensively they'll be fine.
yeah, I got the Patriots winning this game. I'm going to say 17-14.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Patriots 23-13.
Okay. Double-digit lead. All right.
Oh, this is off topic, but going back to it before, we were talking about the Jets backup quarterback. It's Joe Flacco. That's what they're backup.
Oh, that's
quarterback
right. I read that earlier, but I just totally forgot. That's right.
Yeah.
Joe
I mean,
Flacco.
Brett Rippon grew up in a football family, so he
Rippon.
knows about it.
Next we have Vikings at Seattle on Sunday Night Football.
Spicy, absolutely.
Obviously, you're starting Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. I'm still starting Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson. I think that's the only one on the offensive.
I'm basically starting anyone on Seattle besides Greg Olsen. That's probably the only person I wouldn't start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But other than that,
How about David Brown or John Brown? No.
Okay.
Okay.
David Moore.
Yeah.
Nah, if I have him during this game, I'm definitely starting Russ, Carson, Metcalf, Lockett for sure. The secondary of the Vikings isn't looking very good.
I would say the same for the Vikings. I would start Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Seahawks secondary is atrocious. Their defense is not very good to start.
Jamal Adams out once again. So
Yeah, exactly. Dalvin Cook should have a really good game.
So if you have
It's about these games is we're expecting a high scoring game, but it always turns into like a defensive battle until like the end. So I would say start those guys, but you just never know, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if you have them, there's no point in not starting them because there's no way your backups are better.
Yeah. Like the for sure like start them and don't question it is like Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson, like Metcalf. Those guys are for sure the guys that you're starting.
Yeah. Predictions for this game.
I'll let you go first.
I'll go last or second.
Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I think Seahawks still take it. And unlike the previous 2 years, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. Both of our defense are kind of garbage right now. So I'd say Seahawks 31, Vikings 24.
Okay. I'm going to make a spicy pick here. Final score is going to be 3-2. Just kidding. No. I know. Every game we've gone has been disappointing. We should be there this Sunday, but unfortunately, COVID outbreak. But it is what it is. But I'm going to take the Seahawks 28-24.
Okay.
And, obviously, I want them to win, the Vikings to win. And I am going to take the Vikings to win. I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to give you the reasons why I honestly believe this. Because, like you said, both of our secondaries are banged up. They're not looking so good. But for some people, for primarily the media who always complain about Kirk Cousins not being a Monday night football guy, this is Sunday night. And it's in Seattle, again, which primarily we don't really play good in. But there's no fans. So I feel like that's going to be an emotional adrenaline thing for us, for the Vikings. I feel like they're going to be able to feed off that. They've looked a lot better offensively. Defensively, it's still a struggle.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be a shootout. But for me, I think it's just going to come down to who has the ball in the crunch time is going to win the game. Like I feel like Dalvin Cook's gonna have a big game, but so is Chris Carson. The Vikings defense doesn't look necessarily good at all.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they're like bottom of the league. But I'm still gonna say the Vikings win this game, but I'm gonna say they win it by like a game-winning touchdown towards the end of the game, like a little like 20 seconds left or something like that.
Okay.
But it's definitely a close one. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings lost this game, considering the Seahawks are on a hot roll right now. They look good. So there's that. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the Vikings mainly because there's no fans and because of the improvement of the offense, how it looked so far in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely no fans. That's one of the advantages that Seattle has when people come to Seattle is they have the 12th man there.
Exactly.
So that's definitely going to be on the Viking side there. It's funny, Seattle's defense is they're like top 3 against the rush, but they're last in the league against the pass. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a pretty big game. And I think Dalvin Cook's going to be slowed down a little bit. Not a lot. Yeah, I think he'll still rush for 80-something yards, but not as big a game as he has the past few weeks. So
yeah,
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Especially with if Snacks is playing, he's a really good run stopper too. So
yeah. All right, last Monday Night Football, we have Chargers at the Saints. So our boy Josh here is obviously a Chargers fan, so it's going to be hard for him to admit that he's going to lose. But
Go ahead. Let you guys talk first. Go ahead. I'll just
fantasy-wise, obviously I'm starting Keenan Allen if you have him. I don't know. Are you willing to start Joshua Kelly?
I am benching him this week for sure. He hasn't looked good. Like he hasn't looked good since week 1 where he had that one rushing touchdown. But opposed to that, like the Saints are a good team. They have a really good run defense.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly not necessarily looks that good. So for me,
fumbling issue.
Yeah. How about Justin Jackson? What do you think about him?
I'm staying away from the entire backfield of the Chargers right now. Saints.
Okay.
They might have a decent game, but I don't see them doing too hot against that defense and Sean Payton.
On
Yeah.
the Saints side, if you have Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara, of course you're going to start them. Emmanuel Sanders. You willing to start Emmanuel Sanders? I'd start him in my flex if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's had like 15 points the past 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid pickup. But for me, like Fitzpatrick, he's not the sexiest pick, but he's been playing well. So I would start Traquan Smith if it's a deeper league, for example, or start him as my flex. 2 touchdowns last week. You can definitely tell without Michael Thomas there that is one of his favorite. That's one of Drew Brees' favorite targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like with Michael Thomas back, obviously there's going to be a lot of attention on him. So I feel like that will free up Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith.
Yeah. How about Jared Cook? What do you guys think of him?
Why not? If you have him.
Yeah.
I'm benching him. I'd rather start Hunter Henry than Jared Cook in this game.
Really? Okay.
I think that's a given.
Yeah, I think the Saints are one of the last in the league against the tight end. I might be wrong though.
Yeah.
I have it right here. Let me double check. Against tight ends. Yeah, Saints are second to last. So the 31st in the league against tight ends in terms of fantasy. So of course you're going to start Hunter Henry here over Jared Cook if you have to.
Yeah.
So, all right, predictions for this game. I have Saints winning 24-14 here.
All right. I'm going to choose the Saints only because their defense is looking a lot better. They have a lot of big names there, and I feel like my brother mentioned, Keenan Allen is going to have a lot of attention on him.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore is going to be on him. I feel like he's going to shout him primarily a lot of the game, plus a lot of safety hill bracketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Saints here. I'm going to say it's a lot closer than people expect because for the Chargers games, I feel like every single game, they always make it close. They always make it close. Like there's always a close game. So I'm going to take the Saints take this game. I'm going to say 28-25.
Okay.
All right. Now let me educate you young men right here, right?
Okay.
I initially had the Saints over the Chargers. Then I was like, nah, I'm not doing that, obviously.
Even
So
Austin Eckler out?
we're gonna have, of course, major troubles trying to stop Alvin Kamara because our rush defense is not very good.
Yeah.
But also, if we do stop, I mean, I feel like we'll limit him a little bit. And when Drew Brees looks to pass, I think we're gonna do a lot better job than we did last week against Tom Brady. Drew Brees hasn't really looked like sharp this week or this year at all. So I think the Chargers are gonna win 24-21, and I think they're gonna have the ball final possession, and Drew Brees will not be able to get it done.
So you're picking the rookie here, huh?
Absolutely, he's looked phenomenal.
What's your final score looking like?
24-21.
Okay. Spicy.
Okay.
I think we kick a field goal with about 2 minutes left, and they try to come down and,
So it's
do
gonna
their
be
thing.
classic Chargers game.
It's not gonna happen. It will not happen.
Raiders, though, I mean,
Yeah.
If we do lose, you best believe it's because someone fumbled. Not naming names, but we have.
Or if you guys lose, it's by a field goal. Late.
or
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be. Oh, it's always gonna be close. That's the way Anthony Lynn wants it. He's gonna run when we're ahead, and he's gonna time management is just not what he's good at at all.
If you're the GM of the Chargers or the owner of the Chargers, are you firing Anthony Lynn?
Yes, I am firing Anthony Lynn, even though he got extended like beginning of the year, I believe, or the summer. He's 3-12 in one possession games, and it's not because his team's not talented enough. I'll say that.
the real raw rant from a Chargers fan right now.
Mhm.
But
And then last week against the Bucks, we got the ball up 24-7 with 40 seconds left. If you have no intention of scoring the ball, might as well take a knee. Don't risk a fumble and let him come back. And then you come out at halftime, you come out with 2 runs, and then a play action that you get sacked. Show some fight. Don't do that.
But who would you replace him with then?
Anthony Lynn,
Yeah.
our offensive coordinator, his name is Shane Steichen. I like some of his plays, kind of spicy. Anthony Lynn just wants to run the ball and can't do that when your O-line is bottom of the league.
I'll be honest. Justin Herbert's better than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a bust here.
After watching his combine, I was like, this is the guy, bro. Him or Joe Burrow, but obviously we're not getting Burrow. But, bro, my goodness, his combine was impeccable.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well. So, all right, our last segment here is actually we have 2 more segments. Who's your waiver wire pickups for this week?
Ooh.
My number 1 would be Justin Jefferson. I think everyone already did, and I say he's a must start against Seattle. He's been playing really good, probably the best rookie so far outside of CeeDee Lamb at receiver wise. But yeah, he's gonna torch that secondary, and he's gonna dance all over him.
Wow.
I like that answer. That was a good one.
I know. I do believe that he's gonna have a better game than Adam Thielen.
I think so too, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's gonna have. Yeah, I think him and Dalvin. If the Vikings get an early lead, they have a chance. But outside of that, if Russ cooks, it is what it is.
Yeah.
My waiver wire pickup this week is Dearness Johnson.
Yep.
After Chubb went out, he had 13 carries for 95 yards in that game. So pretty good stats. I think Hunt is going to fill in for Chubb, obviously. But I think Dearness Johnson is going to get the same amount of fantasy stats that Kareem Hunt was getting. So I think they're just going to swap places here. So if Dearness Johnson is on waivers right now, I'd be more than willing to pick him up.
Okay. I have a couple up here. So one I would say is if you're looking for a quarterback, I would say start Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him too.
You mentioned earlier playing against the Falcons. They are ranked 32 right now in terms of yards against, so they're not necessarily looking good. And Teddy Bridgewater came off an impressive performance last week. So he's one player if you're looking for a quarterback to stream. If you're not looking for a quarterback for someone like for a wide receiver, for example, I'm taking a look at Sammy Miller. I feel like he's a spicy pick because, like we mentioned, Mike Evans is going to have a bigger day. But, the defense is obviously no Mike Evans. Sammy Miller is a slot receiver. He kind of reminds me of like a Cole Beasley type of guy or like a Wes Welker. He's one of those like shifty speedster.
Absolute wheels.
Yeah.
Go look up the video of him in college when he – I don't know if it was like a 4x1, but oh my goodness, wheels.
Yeah,
Chris
so
Hunt's also out this week as well, so that'll help out Scotty Miller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's no Godwin. So, like, I'm thinking he's going to be a sleeper pick, especially because not only does he get looks in the slot, he also does like end around and stuff like that as well too.
Big playability as well.
Yeah, so he's definitely one of the sleeper picks. I see him in the waiver wire this week.
Another waiver wire pickup I'd be willing to pick up, Tim Patrick. Past 2 weeks, he has had 14.3 points, and then this past week he's had 23.3 points. He scored a touchdown in each of those games. He's the second, obviously with Cortland Sutton being out, he's the second most targeted wide receiver on that team. And he also has some good matchups for the rest of the year. He's playing the Dolphins, who are 25th in fantasy points against wide receivers. Falcons are 23rd, Bills are 22nd, and Patriots are 26th. So if you're looking for a wide receiver to pick up off waivers, I'd be willing to pick up Tim Patrick here.
Mm-hmm.
So I even picked him up in our league. So
Yeah, no, I saw that. I don't know why he plays for the Broncos. So
salty.
yeah,
How do you guys feel about Brandon Ayuk?
absolutely. I was trying to tell JR to pick him up last week, but I don't know, like definitely spicy. I'll say that.
I don't know. I mean, last week he kind of got saved by that touchdown, even though it was an amazing play with that hurdle. But take that touchdown away. I mean, I think he had 2 or 3 receptions that game.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with the QB situation with Jimmy G's coming back.
Yeah.
I think his numbers will increase heavily, but we'll see. I don't know how much targets we'll get with Kittle fully healthy and putting up 40 points like that.
Yeah.
Also, you have to mention that he's playing against the Dolphins.
Okay, another thing. Let me see. Kittle had, 15 catches?
Yeah,
I think
15.
Nick Mullins probably had, 20-something completions.
Hey, CJ Beathard, though, he kind of went off.
Yeah, 14 for 19, 200 yards.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, Mullins had 18 completions and 15 to Kittle, so.
Yeah. Unbelievable. He was just passing him every freaking play. I was like, bro, come on now.
I know. I was like, I love it. But you don't know. I had Odell and Kittle on my team. 170-something points.
Another pickup, if you haven't picked him up already by now, is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, considering that Lazard's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is the wide receiver 2 for that team. And Devontae Adams is still out, but they're on a bye week. I'm sure they'll be rested and healthy for the next upcoming weeks. But Devontae Adams is always going to get volume, but he's also always going to get coverage looks at him as well, too.
Yeah.
So Marquez Valdez-Scantling, if you haven't picked him up yet, I would advise you do that.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers playing the way that he is. I mean, at this point, if you're a Packers wide receiver, it's kind of looking up for you in fantasy.
Yeah, obviously you bench Valdez-Scantling versus the Vikings, but I mean that's the only time you bench him.
I'm definitely starting the Vikings both times.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
All right, who's your guys' start of the week? So the start of the week, this is a player that you think is going to have a really good week in fantasy. And for start of the week, we're going to keep score throughout the season. So if your start of the week is a quarterback and he has more than 25 points, then that's a point for you. If he's a wide receiver or running back and they have more than 20 points, that's a point. And then if your start of the week is a tight end and he has 15 or more points, then that'll be a point for you. And we'll keep track throughout the year. So
You want to go down the list like by position, or do you just want to go straight up just one pick?
yeah, just one pick. Who do you think is going to have a good week this week?
I'm going last on this one. Go ahead.
Bro, the classic nose goes. You guys are fake.
I'll go. My start of the week is going to be David Johnson. Obviously, with Romeo Crennel coming in, they're going to have a whole new attitude. I think they're going to switch some things up on offense. I think David Johnson is going to get a lot more carries than he has been. He's been averaging like 12 carries a game, and he's a starting running back. So I think they're going to run the ball a lot more often, and I think he's going to get more receptions out of the backfield as well. And who are they playing this week? I forgot.
What'd you say?
David Johnson. They play the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So, and let's see here. Jags are like 25th in the league against fantasy points against running back. So David Johnson had a good week 1. He's been kind of quiet lately. But this is going to be my start of the week this week.
Ooh, who do we pick?
Just one. This is tough.
Okay, but it could be any player.
Yes, any player.
Okay, Ezekiel Elliott, absolutely. He's going against the G-men. He's getting at least 25 carries. He's going to have at least 100 yards for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 2 or 3.
Okay.
Making it easy for me. Ooh.
Right. For me, I am taking DeAndre Hopkins versus the Jets this week. I feel like Kendrick Dixon gets stuffed because the Jets defense, their run defense is underrated, but their secondary is not ideal. So
Yeah.
I feel like DeAndre Hopkins will have a big game, especially because the last game he only had 11 points. He had like 8 targets, 4 catches. So it didn't necessarily look good, but I feel like this is a bounce back, get right game versus the Jets for DeAndre Hopkins.
Nice. Well, I think that that wraps it up for our first podcast of the week. We finally did it.
We did it. Let's go.
So next week we'll be doing the podcast on Tuesday. That way, people who are listening can get some waiver wire advice before they can put claims in on Tuesday instead of Wednesday and stuff like that. So, so if you're watching this, be on the lookout for the podcast on Tuesday next week. And thank you guys for watching. All right.
Like and follow.
Yep.
Oh yes. If you really want to support the podcast, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. We'd really appreciate if you guys subscribed and help us grow the podcast and whatnot. So we'd really appreciate it. So, all right, guys. We'll see you.
See you next week.